There we go.
Recording in progress.
All right, this is a meeting of the Wellfleet Selectboard, public meeting on Tuesday, June 16th, 2026. The time is now 6:05 p.m. And as customary, we will begin with announcements and public comments. Public comments are limited to no more than 3 minutes per speaker, and the board will not deliberate or vote on any matter raised solely during announcements and public comments. So with that, are there any announcements by the board? Barbara?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My announcement is, in case folks don't know, Pole Dyke Road is now open up to Coles Neck, so you can now go to the transfer station that way instead of going around. So thank you to everyone who's working on that. It's not paved yet, but you can get there. Thank you.
Thank you. Josh?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My next office hours are going to be on Monday, June 22nd, from 12 to 1 on the second floor of Town Hall.
Thank you.
I don't have any. I thought I had one, but I can't remember what it is right now. So,
Sheila?
No, I do not.
Okay, then I guess we'll open up the floor in the room first, if anyone has any public comment.
Hello, Chris Merle. Is this thing on?
Yeah, you might want to pull it up a little.
Oh, yeah, it is on. So this is about the appointment of Robert Dupuy. I don't know if I should wait to read it until later, but I just wanted to make sure I'd have the opportunity. It's a letter from my daughter that I'd like to read into the record. What did you suggest?
It's
Coming up during an agenda item.
That's what I'm saying.
That would be.
Okay.
And that is a public.
Yeah, we are going to have public.
Agenda.
Is that a public hearing or is it?
Yes, I believe
no,
it is.
it's not a public hearing.
Yeah, but we will take public comment.
All right.
So
Okay.
yeah, if you want to wait till then.
Okay,
That's,
thank you.
Sure. Anyone else in the room? Seeing none.
Sarah Nichols has her hand up.
Sarah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Hello, Sarah Nichols here. I was just following up on that group appeal submitted back in November and the request for a written determination from first in March and then in April. We still have not received any response, so just wanted to make sure it's on everyone's radar. That's it, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
Tim Sayre, you've been dealing with this parking sticker for the beaches for, I don't know, what, 6 to 9 months now? The amount of money that this board has spent in personnel time, now probably on lawyers because there are 2 open meeting law complaints against it, for 61 possible beach parking stickers that are not allowed to be bought because they don't pay enough taxes in this town. And last I heard, only 11 people had ever bought beach stickers anyway. This has been a total waste of time, a total waste of the town's money, a waste of my taxpayer monies and everybody else's. You should have just ruled that she can have her sticker just like they always have. Let the 10 or 11 stickers be bought and be done with it. But now we're spending even more money, more time, and you're going to spend time tonight discussing 2 open meeting law complaints that wouldn't have arisen if this had just been settled much earlier. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the room? Anyone else online?
I don't see any hands up there, John.
I don't see anybody else, Jim.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait, is there somebody else in the room?
Mary Ann Boswell. I know that you're going to discuss Maurice's, but I'm on the committee, and I just want to say that speaking for myself, I really hope that the Select Board will get involved and give direction to where we go next.
Thank you. Anyone else in the room? Anybody online?
No.
Okay. In that case, we'll move on to the open meeting law complaint discussion. What's it?
Attorney Council Murray is online.
Oh, okay. Carolyn?
Good evening, members of the board. For the record, Carolyn Marty from KP Law, Town Council, and I'm here to discuss with you 2 open meeting law complaints filed by Ms. Nichols. And you should have received in your packets, hopefully, from via Rebecca, a draft response. It's a single response, a consolidated response addressed to both of the complaints, which we are allowed to do. The first open meeting law complaint deals with your October 7th, 2025 executive session minutes and claims that something that was discussed during that was discussed in executive session about release of town council's opinion lacked sufficient detail, and that the roll call votes were not properly recorded, and also that a list of documents was not appended to or at the end of the meeting minutes, as is required of the open meeting law. So breaking each one of those down, your executive session minutes, and I believe you have already approved and released your version of the executive session minutes. We've also proposed some suggested revisions that should be in your packets this evening. And it is true that the Select Board's executive session discussion about whether or not to release Town Council's opinion from September 4th, 2025 was basically a sentence or two in your minutes. And after discussions with Rebecca Eldridge, she verified that you had a very brief discussion, that there really was no debate. It was just a very brief discussion of the board in agreement, and consensus was quickly reached to go ahead and release that town council opinion. So, the open meeting law requires that we provide an accurate summary of what was discussed. And there are determinations from the Attorney General's office that discuss the fact that the amount of detail that is contained within the minutes should be reflective of the length of your discussion. And based on conversations with Rebecca, as I said, I think the minutes do accurately reflect and give the appropriate amount of brevity to reflect the length of your discussion relative to releasing that opinion. With respect to roll call votes, the open meeting law does require that when you are in executive session, all of your votes be taken by roll call, and they were. However, they were recorded as a roll call vote 5-0. Anyone could have looked at the minutes and easily seen that all 5 members of the board were present, and therefore a 5-0 vote indicates that all 5 of you voted in favor. Still, technical compliance with the open meeting law requires that each one of your names and your specific vote be recorded in the minutes. So the amended minutes in your packets reflect the proper way to indicate a roll call vote in executive session. Finally, with respect to the list of documents used, again, the open meeting law does require that your minutes contain a list of documents that are used, discussed, presented to the board in the course of your discussion. But in this particular instance, your executive session minutes, and in fact, even your meeting minutes themselves, listed all of the documents in the body of the minutes. You discussed town council's opinion, and you also, in this executive session, reviewed a series of executive session minutes to determine whether or not those minutes could be approved and or released with or without any redactions. So the minutes themselves contain a list of all of the documents that were discussed. Nonetheless, we did make a modification to the minutes to basically just revise to include executive session minutes as listed herein or as listed above. And in our opinion, that is sufficient compliance with the open meeting law. for purposes of that set of minutes. The second open meeting law complaint you received is with respect to your April 21st, 2026 minutes. And the allegation is that the minutes did not properly reflect Ms. Nichols' comments during the public comment session. The minutes reflect that Ms. Nichols questioned that she was waiting for a determination, but the minutes actually included a reference to town council's opinion. And as Ms. Nichols pointed out in her open meeting law complaint, she did not actually refer to town council's opinion in her comments. The revised minutes that are in your packet now reflect precisely what Ms. Nichols actually said, but it does also include a reference to town council's opinion or a determination from town council relative to the beach parking permit appeal process. And the reason we've still kept that language in is because, similar to how you heard the comment earlier this evening, Ms. Nichols is waiting for a determination. But any member of the public who picks up a copy of these minutes a month or a year from now won't know what that is in reference to. So Rebecca provided a little more detail to make it clear that this was in reference to a determination that had been made or an opinion that had been given by my office relative to the beach parking permits. Both of the complaints also request that a formal process be adopted with respect to the public being able to provide corrections or comments on the minutes. This is not something that's required under the open meeting law. The obligation to prepare the minutes and to make sure that they accurately summarize what was discussed is an obligation of the board, not necessarily of the public. But to that end, I did confirm with Rebecca earlier today that, at least with respect to open session minutes, when drafts of those minutes are prepared, they're included in the select board packets for the upcoming meeting where they're expected to be discussed. And members of the public who attend those meetings, or members of the public who might review the packet in advance of that meeting, have an opportunity to either contact the select board or the office in person or by email, or to show up at the public meetings, as so many folks typically do, and could request that corrections or clarifications to the minutes be made when the board is actually discussing them. So I'll pause there for the board because we have prepared the response to these two open meeting law complaints along the lines of what I've just summarized for you. And the action that we'd be looking for this evening is that you authorize me to submit that response on your behalf, and also that you approve the minutes from October 7th, 2025 executive session and the April 21st, 2026 minutes as we have suggested revised, and we would include those in our response to the Attorney General's office. So I'll pause there, Mr. Chair, and
Mr. Chair?
welcome any comments the board members might have.
Thank you, Ryan.
We don't have a copy of the response.
You have it, I
Yes, we
sent it to
do.
you electronically separately, because I didn't know if you were going to change it. It's right there. I sent yours electronically on Friday.
On Friday. All right, I was just looking for it, make sure I didn't miss it.
Josh?
I appreciate the thorough explanation, and I do remember a very brief conversation, which is why it was reflected so briefly in the minutes. Just one small note in your response on page 2, and it's possible I just have a draft that's not fully complete, but on the end of the second paragraph, it says, "The complaint, in addition to the public, was provided with this opinion on," and my version has a blank.
Mine too.
Yes, that's actually a date I need to confirm with Rebecca,
Thank you.
because the copy of the opinion was in fact provided, I think, in early May, but I want to confirm that.
Understood. That's all I got.
Anyone else? Okay, seeing none. I guess I'm ready for a motion on this part of it.
Mr. Chair, I move to direct town council to send the letter as presented with the one final amendment of the date tonight in response to the open meeting law complaint filed by Sarah Nichols on May 28th, 2026.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Ryan, aye.
Barbara, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
And John, aye. That passes 5-0.
And
Thank you.
does the board need to?
Then with respect to the revised minutes,
Right. Motion on revised minutes, please.
I move to approve the revised minutes for October 7th, 2025, executive session, April 21st, 2026, open session.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Ryan, aye.
Barbara, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
And John, aye. Passes 5-0. Thank you, council.
thank you very much. Have a good rest of your meeting.
Nice to see you.
Thank you.
Nice to see you too.
Moving on to the consent agenda, I know there's going to be a couple of items we're going to be taking out of here.
Yes, if I may, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, I'd like to take the planning board reappointments out of consent and move them to the discussion item with the other planning board appointments.
Okay, and I think, were we going to, I guess that's the only one then, unless someone else has something else. In that case, we'll take a motion on the balance of the consent agenda.
So, Mr. Chairman, I move the consent agenda, which is the reappointment of all board and committee members whose terms will expire on June 30th, 2026, with the exception of the two planning board reappointments.
Second.
Okay, and just to quickly clarify for everybody, it includes Ken Granlund on the Board of Health, Steve Kopitz on the Cable, Internet, and Cellular Advisory Committee, Robert Dupuy on the Commission on Disabilities, Janice Plow on the Community Preservation Committee, Leon Shreves, John Kumbler, Barbara Brennesel, Robert Stewart, and John Portnoy on the Conservation Commission, Mary Goodhouse, Brian Quigley, and Wayne Clow on the Council on Aging Advisory Board, Joe Aberdale for the Dredging Task Force, Nancy Gralla for the Energy and Climate Action Committee, and Kevin Sheehan on the Historical Commission, Kevin Coakley, Martha Wilson, Ed Kane, and William Barrio on the Marina Advisory Committee, Natural Resources Advisory Committee, Thomas Slack, Beth Singer and Alfred Picard on the... Oh, no?
Those
Well, that's
are the
right,
ones taken
we're
out.
handling
Yep.
that separately. Recreation Committee, Kevin Scully, Nancy Gralla on the Recycling Committee, Adrian Kamik on the Shellfish Advisory Board, Nancy Bierhands on the Taxation Aid Committee, and last of all, Trevor Point-Briand, Andrew Freeman, and Sharon Inger on the Zoning Board of Appeals. So it's been moved and seconded? Okay, roll call vote.
Ryan, aye.
Barbara, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
John, aye.
And then, Mr. Chair, before we move on, this is more a question for the executive assistant. Can you work with the town clerk in getting an updated list of vacancies? I know some people did not renew their terms this year.
Yep, I already have it and sent it to her.
If we can make it publicly available,
Sure.
that would be helpful.
All right, so then that leaves the energy and, the
No, that's later. You have public hearings.
planning
first.
board appointments. Oh, that's later on? Okay. All right, then, moving on to public hearings. I now open the public hearing on item A, New Fleet Corp. doing business as Hog Island Surf and Beer Yard, Seabird Cantina, to approve the reconsideration of change of manager. Who do we have to speak to
You guys
that?
actually already approved this. This is a reconsideration because they did not hand in all the paperwork to the state, and it's required to have another public hearing just to reconsider it. It's their query check.
Oh, okay. So, Is there any,
No, there's no one here for that.
there's no one here for it? Barbara?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not trying, through the chair, I'm not trying to make trouble. I don't see like Seabird Cantina anywhere on here. Does that need to be anywhere on here? It just refers to.
No,
how-
that's their name now. They're doing business as the Cantina. Their actual license name is New Fleet Corp. LLC.
But their DBA is.
Still Hog Island. They haven't changed it yet. I just put it on there so that you would know what I was talking about.
Oh, okay, so at some point
Yeah.
they'll change their
Yes,
DBA?
yep, they'll
Okay.
come before you to
Got
change
it.
the name.
Thank you. Do you need a motion?
Well, is there any comment from anyone in the room or any questions? Anybody online? Okay, I'll take a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Ryan, aye.
Barbara, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
John, aye. And then I'll take a motion on the item.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the change of manager from Michael McNamara to Earl Evans Kendall at the Seabird Cantina located at 842 State Highway, Wellfleet, Mass.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Shouldn't the motion be New Fleet LLC?
Yeah, you're right. I think it should.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
So, Mr. Chair,
We need to,
I'm saying, you're saying that he should, instead of changing the name of the owner,
It has to be the legal entity, so
so it wouldn't be the Seabird Cantina located, so let me revise that and start over again. I move to approve the change of manager from Michael McNamara to Earl Evans Kendall at the New Fleet Corp. LLC located on 842 State Highway, Wellfleet, Mass.
Second.
roll call vote.
Ryan, aye.
Barbara, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
John, aye. Passes 5-0. I'll now open the public hearing on David White, Outer Cape Music Festival, to approve the special event alcohol license for the Outer Cape Music Festival being held at the Wellfleet Marina September 5th and 6th, 2026. Do we have anybody here for that? Or do we need anybody here for that?
This is,
Okay. Mr. White?
Hi, that's me. I'm Dave White. I represent Outer Cape Music. I just want to say that we're a 501c3 nonprofit. Profits go to Boston Children's Hospital, the Wellfleet Food Bank, Lower Cape Outreach Council, the Lily House, Veterans Outreach Programs, Children's Music Scholarship, and Elder Services. We're just looking for a beer and wine license. We will obtain, after approval, we'll obtain event insurance through Kaplansky Insurance. Everyone is a certified crowd manager that's a volunteer. All bartenders are mass tips. We coordinate with all department heads, and we look to follow a similar footprint to last year. We'll have a bar for the general public and one for VIPs, but it'll be in the same area. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Anyone on the board have any questions?
Through the chair.
Yep.
Yeah, my question isn't about the event, it's just about the hearing fees for this and then the upcoming one. Whether we have some sort of principle about waiving or modifying fees for nonprofits, just so if the board could talk about that at some point.
Anybody for discussion?
for right now?
Yeah, for right now, yeah, because there's a hearing fee, there's a fee of $475 here on
For the
that.
special event license.
It is, yeah, I think that's appropriate.
Isn't that set in the rules and regulations for?
Or if you change, it's not set in stone.
So, I guess I asked because it's not, like those charges, the other charges, the hearing fee and the processing fee aren't on the second one, and I don't have an opinion about one or the other, but I just want to make sure we're addressing them consistently, or at least talking about why we would charge one and not the other if this first one is a 501c3 as well.
Who did we not charge?
The second one that's upcoming, the church is just a fee, and again, I'm not opposed
Oh,
to
I
that.
see.
I'm not opposed to modifying it for the second one, for the church, but I just thought if we could have a discussion about
Yeah.
how we want to treat both of those, that's all.
Yeah, since you point out that we're waiving it in one case, I'd be in favor of waiving it for this one.
If I may, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
I believe that the second one, which is with the church, St. James of the Fishermen, is going to be held on their property, on the site of the church.
No.
It's not, where is it?
It's going to be held here.
Or it's at the ACC. So it still is kind of different. It doesn't have the entire marina involved, and it doesn't have, I mean, I agree, my question is, how do you disperse the money? How does that committee go? But I know that they're doing this for a good cause, but on the other hand, there's a lot of disruption that goes on down at the marina, and you have paid this fee in the past, correct, Mr. White?
This year, we paid $800 fee for use of town property.
Yeah, that's
So
last
through
year.
the chair, though, this isn't use of town property. This is a special event liquor license. We haven't gotten to use of town property. So here, what?
Yeah, that's right. I paid-
Right, but my point, yeah, so through the chair, my point is, if the three fees here are the liquor license itself, which is either $125 or $175, then a $175 hearing fee and a $50 processing fee, those are the expenses that we're talking about, not use of
I
town
see.
property. So again, I don't want to make a big deal of it, I just want to make sure that we're kind of treating things with some kind of, deliberateness.
Yeah, I would further add that I don't see any indication that the event at St. James is raising funds for these different charities, whereas
So, Mr. Chair, if I may,
yeah,
our liquor license rules and regulations have fees in them. It doesn't differentiate between who might be holding the license. So how many days is this for?
Two.
two.
Two? If it's beer and wine, it should be $200.
No, you changed them.
Oh, there's an updated one?
You changed them a year and a half, 2 years
Oh,
ago.
okay. The one on the website is still the 2016 version. So, 2016 version is,
That's a long time ago.
I mean, yeah, we don't update it very frequently.
Yeah, but the point is, we're not charging, we are we charging?
So the fee is set in the rules and regulations, and it doesn't have I don't know, I'd have to look at the current version, but the previous version,
You're saying we can't waive them?
it doesn't have provisions for waiving.
For-
Waive the liquor
For
fees.
waiver, yeah, just to clarify, so waiver, so there's the three different fees here. There's the liquor license itself, which I would doubt you can waive any of that, but then there's the hearing fee and then the processing fee. So do we have discretion to waive either or both of those?
The hearing fee, yes, that's in our fee schedule that we set as a board. That does provide the board the ability to waive the fees when appropriate. We adopted that because at the time, we were getting into a lot of these conversations.
Yeah.
About, weighing one applicant against the other and
Right.
trying to figure out a fee.
Right.
So-
I do remember, because we were negotiating every time. So my proposal here is there's $250, which is the $125 per day, 2 days, plus $50 processing fee. Waive the $175 hearing fee, so the total would be $300. That's my proposal.
So I don't see where there is a request to waive the fee.
It's sua sponte, I'm just suggesting, it's been prepared for us with one of them the fee waived and one of them the fee not waived, and I'm just suggesting that we treat them the same. And so, to that end, this is my proposal. The board doesn't have to agree with me, I just wanted to have this discussion.
I'd be supportive of Barbara's.
So I don't understand what we're doing. We're
Waiving the public hearing fees.
waiving the public hearing fees.
Right,
No.
yeah, that is my proposal.
Not the
for
liquor
this.
fee. We can't waive the liquor
Okay.
fee.
So everything
Yes, so
else
my-
is, I see what you're saying.
So what,
So it would be $300 as opposed to,
whatever it says. $475, and then when we get to the next one, similarly, to
it would
waive,
just be,
to waive the public hearing fee and just charge for the liquor,
which is
and then 1
$125.
day plus processing fee unless you want to waive that. But that would be my proposal, to treat them the same.
Josh?
I agree.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. If we're, any more discussion on the board? Oh, if there, is the board done?
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
done.
then we'll go to the floor.
Nancy Chivetta, Shellfish Constable. So have you in the past waived advertising fees?
No.
Okay, because every shellfisherman pays an ad fee with a grant to come here. And if you begin to waive fees, and I know that it's nonprofits, and I get that, but I would expect that, you might hear from some shellfishermen wanting to have their ad fees waived. I just want you to think about setting the precedent.
No, if I may.
Yeah.
You make a very good point. I think the delineation is, one is a nonprofit where the proceeds are going to charity, and another is for a private enterprise for the pursuit of profit. And so I understand the concern, but I think the board does have discretion to support nonprofits. And
Absolutely.
And I don't think you're suggesting otherwise, but
Yeah.
I do think there's a difference, and I think that it's defensible.
Yep, and just one more thing is that the town does then pay out of the advertising budget for that ad because it has to be placed. Just thinking about that. Thanks.
Through the chair, those
Yeah.
are good points, but I'm prepared to make a motion if the chair would like.
Any more comment from the
Oh,
room?
no, sorry, closing public hearing, I forgot.
And
Sorry.
also, I don't see any hands up online. If no one has anything further to add, then I'll take a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Second,
Roll call vote.
Ryan, aye.
Barbara, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
John, aye. And Barbara, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve David White of the Outer Cape Music Festival, a special event liquor license on Saturday, September 5th, 2026, and September 6th, 2026, for a fee of $300.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Ryan, aye.
Barbara, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
John, aye. Passes 5-0.
And before we
Thank-
go on to the next one,
Thank you, David.
thank you, David.
Thank you very much.
See
Thank you.
See you there.
You hear that? Bye.
Are we going to document that we're going to have a difference for nonprofits? Are we going to make this?
Well, through the chair, I mean, it's in the regulations that we have discretion to do so, so it's under that authority that I believe, we just waived the
Right.
hearing fee, so I don't think there's any separate documentation other than that the minutes of the meeting will show that we discussed it and determined that a waiver was appropriate.
Okay, I just want to make sure, I mean, 3 years from now, somebody might be sitting here
Happy,
not
you
knowing
know.
that there was a precedent.
I mean,
But it's in the regulations.
Okay. Oh, it was in the regulations that we can change it.
You
But
can, no,
then
you
it
can
was
waive.
changed.
You can
You
waive
can waive it, okay.
at your discretion.
and just to make a point that nonprofits vary considerably in size. And I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Okay. I'll now open the public hearing for Martha Wilson at St. James the Fisherman to be approved for a special event liquor license for James the Fisherman's anniversary celebration. Is anybody here? Is Ms. Wilson here?
I don't see her.
Okay.
She was told.
Okay. I don't think we need her to be here. Josh?
Similar to form of the previous discussion, I don't recall a request for use of town property coming before us for this event.
Right.
It's not town property, it's at the church.
I thought we were just told it was here.
Says ACC.
It says description of premises, adult community center.
Oh, I think they have to do it through here, it's not use of town property, they book it through the ACC.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Is that
No,
accurate?
no,
I don't
it's
think-
not.
That's what they've been doing, I've never had to use use of town property for the community center.
Okay, well, yeah, we need to get,
Yeah, you people are,
So just
Fair enough.
to restate my question,
bring that a little closer.
I was asking if this event has come before the board to ask for a use of town property. And the answer was no, they haven't. And there's a discussion and possibly some confusion if the board needs to approve use of town property at the adult community center or if they need to book directly with the ACC. I mean, if I recall, about a year ago, a business requested use of town property for the parking lot of the ACC that came before the board, so I don't really know what the difference is between the parking lot and inside the building. And so it would be of my opinion that any private organization that wants to use any town property should request a use of town property like everyone else does. But that's not going to prevent us from issuing a liquor license, but I would recommend that they come back before us so that we can give them a use of town property.
Okay.
okay.
That's where I am.
And are we going with their fee at this
Yes.
point?
It would just
That
be
was a
the
public hearing fee,
125, right?
so it's 125, right? Okay.
The license.
Yeah, that fee, and then could waive or not waive the processing fee. I think
Right, we waived the process, the
No, we
public
just-
hearing.
we waive the public hearing fee for the other one, but not the processing.
I don't see a processing fee here.
It wasn't written down.
Maybe it was already waived.
Yeah, I don't think there wasn't a itemization, but I think we know it's $125 for the liquor, waive the hearing fee, but keep the processing fee consistent with the other one, so that's $175 total.
Well, the beer and wine is 125.
Right, plus $50.
Plus 50, that's
Yeah.
why it is, yeah.
Yeah, so 175 total.
Yeah.
All right, so we are,
That would be my suggestion, consistent with the previous.
that we charge how much?
175.
Yeah.
75, okay. Is there any more discussion on the board? Seeing none, are there any questions or comments from anyone in the room? Seeing none, I see none online. In that case, I'll take a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Second?
Roll call vote.
Ryan, I.
Barbara, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
John, aye. And I'll take a motion on the item.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the request by Martha Wilson of James the Fisherman Episcopal Church, a special event liquor license for July 25th, 2026 for the fee of $175.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Ryan, I.
Barbara, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
John, aye. Passes 5-0. And then we move on to board and committee appointments and updates. And here, this is where we are now dealing with the planning board appointments. And who
And
would,
you
li-
pulled their names
I did.
from? Okay.
So I didn't know from the chair whether we were discussing Mr. Wagner, Mr. Dupuy, or the two full members first. It's up to the chair.
well, the other two members are simply being
Reappointed.
Right,
reappointed.
no, I understand that.
Yeah, last year we interviewed everybody, including Jerry Parent. We interviewed Jerry, I think, twice, so.
Was this told to people that
I-
they had to be here to be
I-
interviewed?
I am not in charge of advising people, but when people are up for reappointment, they generally know,
They know to come.
know to come, so,
Well, I don't,
Or it can be, it can be postponed.
so we're looking at Alfred Picard
Mr. Parent.
and,
No,
No.
a singer.
Oh, Beth, yeah, I'm sorry, yes.
who's the other one's being, Beth Singer?
Beth Singer.
I'm sorry.
Is Ms. Singer here?
Excuse me, we just reappointed a whole slate of people. Did we interview every single one of those people?
So through the chair, members have the right to ask the chair to pull an item from the consent agenda, which I did.
I understand.
My reason is that we've heard a lot from the planning board over the past few months. The select board has heard from the planning board on Maurice's campground and some other subjects, and so I just thought it was be an opportunity to discuss with two members who were involved in that correspondence to have a discussion about their opinions. So that's why I pulled those two.
Okay,
Yeah, well, then maybe we should postpone this until.
Fine with me.
I think that's a very good idea
If anybody's here
because,
to interview, I'd want to interview them tonight. That's what we did last year. And that's why we did the planning board wasn't immediate. That's why Jerry got interviewed twice.
Okay.
Was that we interviewed the people that were here the first day. I mean, they've made time for us this evening
Oh,
if
sure.
they are.
Oh,
and then-
So through the chair, I just meant if neither Ms. Singer or Mr. Picard are here, that we can put those off, but I'm not suggesting we put off the other two, which were a separate agenda item.
Right, yeah, we can do that.
Yep.
So who would like to be? Jerry?
Question, Mr. Chair. When you put it off, those expired June 30th, I believe, those two positions. I'm not going to assume anything, I'm going to ask the question. Do they, if you don't have another hearing prior to June 30th, are they off the board because their terms have expired, or are you continuing their terms until you meet with them?
So through the chair, I would say the latter, but it's not a hearing, it's just a meeting and a board appointment, but we do have another meeting before the end of the month, and if we don't, in my experience, what we've done here and elsewhere is for someone to hold over until there's a reappointment or someone else appointed.
so
Yeah, we can do it on the 23rd.
Yeah, that sounds good.
can I ask a question? So
Yes.
we have two reappointments before us, and then there is an opening for a voting member on your board?
Yes.
There is one.
At this,
There's a gentleman that is resigning as of June 30th.
Yeah,
There is, oh, okay.
Mr. Timus.
Yeah,
Mr.
because he's moving over to
Oh,
the
yes,
Water
because he's
Commission.
going to the Water Commission. So you're losing Don Timus.
Don Timus, yeah.
right, I'm not addressing that issue
I
at this
understand.
moment.
I just wanted to see,
I'm
was there
just-
an opening
I'm
here? I
just
couldn't figure out
wondering
where it was.
Whether or not,
We have another, through the chair, the board has another meeting before June 30th.
When
Okay.
do we have it?
The 23rd.
You have a sewer commissioners meeting on the 23rd that's going to be followed by a select board.
Right, so we'll put
You
it
could bring
on
it up at
that
that time, yes.
and invite them?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So currently there is an opening for a voting member and for an alternate.
Correct.
No.
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 There will be an alternate if you make an appointment.
Oh,
From one of these people.
Here's the state of play. We have one gentleman that is resigning from the planning board as of June 30th,
Yeah.
which is opening up a voting seat. We have an alternate that is interested in becoming a voting member of the planning board, and we have another applicant that is interested in becoming a member of a voting member of the planning board. Mr. Dupuy and Mr. Wagner have both applied to be voting members of the planning board. If we so choose to appoint Mr. Dupuy as a voting member, we'll then have an alternate position open.
okay, he's
Right.
currently an alternate?
Correct.
I got you.
Dupree is an alternate.
Yes.
We still have an alternate position open.
Thank you. So there's one alternate vacancy currently, no matter
Yes.
what.
No matter what,
Thank you.
okay?
Okay, so do we want to interview either Mr. Dupuy or Mr. Wagner to,
Oh, sure. Oh, sure.
okay. Are either of them here? Are they online?
I don't see them.
Well, And I guess it all gets put off to the next meeting.
Right.
All right, we'll put it off till the
Put it all
23rd.
off.
And maybe we need to make sure that they are here next time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Can I speak one more?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
As chair, I would prefer if you would leave at this moment that vacancy that Timus is stepping down from open. And the reason for that is the last individual that came on, which is Alex, finally we were able to find someone young getting on a board on the planning board. I'd like time for the planning board and other people to speak out, especially after what's happened in the past few months, where the youth in town has come out and been more aware of the political situation in Wellfleet, and they need to get involved. The planning board has a lot of gray hairs. We've been on it for quite a long time. A lot of us are staying there, but at some point, we're going to get off. I'd like to see younger people on that board, and I'd like a chance to see if we can't fill that position with someone younger. Nothing offensive to the applicant who's applying, but I'd like a little bit more time to see if there could be another individual and get some youth on these boards. All of our boards are getting older, so that's the request.
If I may.
Yeah, Josh, go ahead.
Well, I agree in sentiment. I think we would also all agree that we've known of Mr. Timus resigning on June 30th for quite a while now, including the chair of the planning board. And they have had ample time to encourage other members of the community to apply. So what I would encourage everyone to do is to submit their applications this week. And if there are more applications for the planning board, I'd be happy to interview more people on June 23rd. It's a very short agenda. It was supposed to be a single vote on sewer regulations. It now sounds like we're doing sewer regs and the planning board, but there's still time for other individuals to apply.
So if I may, Mr. Chair?
Yeah.
I appreciate that we knew that Don was going to, but that was sort of, I remember seeing that he was going to move over, but if that wasn't publicized, that means that there's going to be an opening on the board. Not everybody follows that. You know that in this town. So I do think that it does need to have some amplification and the ability, if there are other people that want to apply, now that they realize there is an opening, to have that time to be able to do it. I know what the big rush is here.
There already is a vacancy on the planning board. One of the alternates is vacant. Somebody could have applied for that any time over the last year. But, I'm willing to wait a week. We'll see what we get. But, there is currently a vacancy on the planning board as well, so.
But we didn't know that until
No,
tonight.
we did.
Let's not do the back and forth routine, please.
I'm saying, we just realized it when Jerry said there was another one.
No.
Or at least I
No.
did.
It's enough of that.
Okay.
So what are we going to do? I would suggest
Yeah, we've decided to put off all of those interviews because no one's here
to the 23rd.
to the 23rd.
Okay,
We'll
let's-
notify each of them individually
Right.
as well.
And that's that. Thank you.
And if that's felt not to be adequate, it can always be postponed again, although I would recommend against it because two positions are expiring on the 30th, so,
Although they can be held over,
okay.
so,
All right.
okay.
In that case, we'll move on. So that takes care of that. And Robert Wagner.
What are those 3 pages?
Okay, moving on to business, item A.
You gotta go home?
We have Mark.
Mark Robinson, Compact of Cape Cod Conservation Trust, to approve the conservation restrictions that have been reviewed and okayed by the state. Who's here to speak to that?
Do you want to come up
Yeah,
here?
you can come on up here.
Come on up here, Mark. How are you?
No. These are for them, the new one.
Good evening, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
And members of the board. Mark Robinson, the Executive Director of the Compact of Cape Cod Conservation Trusts, a small group with a large name. I'm here representing The Wellfleet Conservation Trust, President and Trustee Denny O'Connell over there. And we're working in partnership with 3 Wellfleet families who would like to do a little bit for open space preservation in the town by donating conservation restrictions on portions of their smaller properties. These are all less than 1.5 acres. And they all follow the standard format for conservation restrictions using the state model. They've all been approved as drafts by the state Conservation Restriction Review Team. They've all been recommended to you by the Conservation Commission of the town. And I'm here tonight to seek the Select Board approval under General Law, Chapter 184, Section 31 through 33, to approve these conservation restrictions in the public interest so they can be forwarded to the state for the final secretarial approval and recording. All 3 of these entitled the landowners to a state tax credit, which is a program that enables landowners to recoup up to $75,000 or 1/2 of the appraised value of the conservation restriction in addition to the federal income tax deductions that are available for these donations of development rights in the small portions of their property. So I'm happy to answer questions. The properties are located at 110 Kelly Way, 65 Big Chief Hill Road, and 14 Uplands Drive. And they all consist of small pine oak woodlands.
Josh?
And I apologize for not remembering which of the 3 parcels, but one of the parcels that the area that's being put in conservation, it appeared that there's some type of a path or road that went through it on a map. I didn't visit the parcel itself, but is that right-of-way of some sorts being maintained?
I think you're referring to the Kelly Way property.
I believe so.
Yeah. That's a land court plan that shows an old cartway.
Yep.
And I don't think that's a public access. I think it's for private property surrounding there.
Sure.
Somebody has rights to cross over it, but if you go out there, you'll see that a lot of the neighbors walk those old trails.
Yep.
It's a very common thing, but it is private property.
Okay.
One more question, if I may.
Yeah, sure.
We received a new red line. It looks like it was under Section 3A, number 8, subdivision or other division of land. The layman's reading that I tried to attempt was that by putting the portions of land in conservation trust, the entire parcel cannot be subdivided in the future. Is that right?
No, it only pertains to the
incorrect
land
reading.
under the restriction.
I'm sorry?
Only the land that's subject to the conservation restriction cannot be
Understood.
subdivided or divided.
Thank you for the clarification. I didn't think I was reading it correctly, and I appreciate the clarification.
The remaining portions of the property are not subject to these restrictions.
Through the chair.
Yeah.
If the board opts to vote one or all of these, we have separate signature sheets that were provided, so we can get them signed tonight. You won't have to come back into the office.
These are people wanting to do this.
I have a couple of questions, if I may, Mr.
Yeah,
Chair.
sure, go ahead.
Just very quickly, you don't need to provide it today, but only one of these agreements has Exhibit B, which is the, showing exactly where the restriction is going to be. I always like maps, so, more maps the better. So if you can send us the Exhibit Bs for the other 2 restrictions, I'd appreciate that. And then the second one, and I don't know, I know there's different types of conservation restrictions and what people can and cannot do. Would these areas potentially be open to the public or not? Because sometimes they are. But it talks about maintenance of trails, but it's unclear if that's something that, the Conservation Trust would do, like they do on some of the other properties where there's a conservation restriction or not. If you could just provide some, quick clarity on that, that would be helpful.
Yeah, sure. Through the chair, first of all, I have lots of maps in those folders over there. The reasons that they're not attached here is that we have a new edict from the Registry of Deeds. The register himself does not want to see recorded plans re-recorded attached to documents, and I've been reprimanded for trying to do that recently. That's why they don't appear. The one that does is because it's showing something, some new information, as opposed to just referring to the lots. The question about access to these properties, these are all private residential properties. They're all small. They don't lend themselves to trails, and the landowners have not provided for public access, as they're not required to. So it's still private property. They're still responsible for maintenance of the land. Keeping the trails open is for their use and their guests, but not for the public.
Josh?
I had one more thing about Kelly Way, and thank you for reminding me. This is very small, but it seems like this has been in the works for quite a while, but it still lists Mr. DeVasto as a select board member of the town of Wellfleet.
Yeah, we've got new signature
We got new
sheets.
signature pages, great. I took a seat.
We aim to accommodate.
No, I appreciate it. Out of curiosity, if you would indulge me for a moment, did any of these three property owners ever consider apportioning some of their land to Affordable Housing Trust or develop the land for an ADU or any type of housing?
Not to my knowledge. You'd have to ask them.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Fine.
I guess I'm ready for a motion then.
We have the restrictions. So shall we name the restrictions? Our motion is to approve the conservation restrictions that have been reviewed and approved by the state.
No, as amended. The one that, the hard copy is an amended conservation restriction.
Well, then you can make that motion, if you wish.
Do it if you like.
Oh, all right. So we're going to have to do them individually, probably. So I move to approve the conservation restriction as amended for Robin Dale Zellinger at the premise of or located at 14 Uplands Drive, Wellfleet, Massachusetts. Recorded in the Barnstable Registry of Deeds, Plan Book 125, page 85.
215.
215? It's 215.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Brian, aye.
Barbara, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
John, aye. Passes 5-0.
I move to approve the conservation restriction for Derek Oliver and Stephen Oliver as amended at the premise of 65 Big Chief Hill Road, Wellfleet, Massachusetts, recorded under our Barnstable County Registry of Deeds, Plan Book 709, page 87.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Brian, aye.
Barbara, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
John, aye. Passes 5-0.
Okay, and then I move to approve the conservation restriction as amended for Don R. Frail and Catherine Farrell of the Fail Farrell Trust Agreement 2025 at 110 Kelly Way, Wellfleet, Massachusetts, with Barnstable Registry District of the Land Court Plan 15732-A.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Brian, aye.
Sheila, aye. Oh, beat you.
Barbara, aye.
Josh, aye.
John, aye. Passes 5-0. All right.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. If it's not a problem, I'd be happy to notarize signatures if that could be done tonight.
Okay.
That's better than,
Yeah, then having to, do we have those?
You came equipped.
Yeah, the signatures are coming down
Okay,
to
good.
you.
And then we'll
Okay.
hand them right over. All right.
You want to do that right now?
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
doing it
Okay.
right now.
Thank you.
I think in our,
Tomorrow. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
our first,
Okay, there you go. Is it just one page? Or
There's 3.
Oh, those 3. I gotta get the other ones then.
they have to be in blue pen.
No.
Mark, thank you.
Yeah.
I
I
think
thought
there's-
it was probably the
I think
the
there's
whole
3
lot,
pages
but
there
I
to
wasn't
sign.
sure. So,
Can you pass
Oh,
that
this-
back to me? Yeah.
I
3
didn't sign
pages
that.
included in here? Oh, yeah, all right. All
Go let me
right,
sign.
well, here, want to start back down at that end?
Did I miss something?
Yeah, there are 2 other pages.
You did it.
Oh, you did it? All right.
John needs to do it.
John, all right.
And I haven't done it.
And then yeah.
There's one.
Thank you.
All right, that's. Oh, thank you.
The names are in different places on them.
That's all
Shame
right.
on you.
Yeah, come back.
Unacceptable.
Do it over.
It's all yours. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. To accept the Wellfleet Oyster Alliance grant, this is business item B. Hi, Nancy.
Thank you. So I'm very pleased to report that the Wellfleet Oyster Alliance has donated a total of $112,155.90 to the town to bring the commercial ice machine over the finish line and help us get that up and running this summer.
Just saying.
The one thing is that we had already done at your last meeting part of the donation, so I'm going to need to ask you to amend the amount that you're accepting this evening to $104,313.90, because you already accepted $7,842.
Could you read that number again?
Yes. So the number that you will accept this evening is $104,313.90. But I think it's pretty impressive that the total amount is over $112,000. So we're really indebted. That is a huge donation for a small local nonprofit. And I will say that when I go to the Mass Shellfish Officers Association's meetings, all the other shellfish wardens are jealous that we have such a generous nonprofit right here in town to support the efforts of their shellfish department. They don't have it, and we do. So thank you all very much.
Absolutely.
All right, unless is there any questions or discussion?
Looks like Tom.
Yep. Hey, Tom.
Mr. Chair, may I comment?
Yeah, sure.
I'm Tom Sigia. I'm part of the Wellfleet Oyster Alliance Board. $112,000 is a lot of money, but we have a lot of confidence and faith moving forward and getting this ice machine up and running. We've been talking to Nancy day in and day out. The one thing that we do ask is that as you go through the operational piece, that we be part of that. We have 5 members on the board that deal with shellfish, clams, oysters every day of their lives, and I think they would add a tremendous amount of value to the decisions being made on the whole operational process.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Makes good sense. Can we,
We'll certainly consider that, absolutely. Once we get it done, to bring them in and go over what we've created
okay.
Okay.
after it's created.
Okay.
Very good. Thank you, Nancy. Oh, I guess we're going to,
Have a
any
vote.
further discussion on the board? Seeing none, I'll take a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to accept the grant given to the town of Wellfleet from the Wellfleet Oyster Alliance in the amount of $104,313.90 to go towards the ice machine.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Ryan, I.
Barbara, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
And John, aye. Passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you so much.
It's great, and thank you.
And then thank you to the Oyster Alliance
Yes,
A tremendous amount of gratitude.
being so supportive of this effort.
that's right. That's what, hopefully the Pearl will help cover that.
And I know it's had a lot of twists and turns, but the Oyster Alliance have stuck with us throughout this, and it is much appreciated. Business item C, the Wellfleet Energy and Climate Action Committee to approve the decarbonization roadmap. Come on up to the table.
I don't know where the hell it is. Yes.
Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello.
Before we get started, I have a procedural question. If it looks like this is not going to be an affirmative vote tonight, what would be the best thing to do? Would it be to table this for another time, or to accept a failed vote? And, like, is there a time period that we have to wait if this does not? So, like,
So
we could...
through the chair, I don't think this is one of those situations where there's a waiting period to bring it back. That's my suggestion. I don't know if other board members agree.
I don't recall a time where the board has ever, excuse me, if this is not endorsed and accepted, I don't think it's with prejudice. So I think the board is always open to future conversations. That would be my point of view on this. And
I would agree.
Although through the chair, I guess it's a strategic decision whether you want that kind of on the record, but that's for you guys to decide.
Okay, thank you.
So, would you like to give a presentation, or what's the plan here?
I don't really have a presentation. We don't have a presentation. What I would like to do is give Tom, because you were absent from the last meeting, the opportunity to either talk about the letter that's in the packet, or...
I wasn't at the last meeting, but there was directives under the last meeting to find out what the town administrator thought. From that, I went back and talked to some of the department leaders that would be dealing with this.
Can we get a little more on the mic?
Who would be, I went back to town departments who would be dealing with this, and a couple of things have come to light. One is that this is a 25-year commitment that under this proposal would fall under the Director of Public Works for decision-making determinations on purchases and things like that. I can honestly say that I don't think that the DPW director right now has bandwidth to take on anything else, even 5 minutes a week, seriously. So I'm a little concerned about that. I'm also, the other concern I had, and Mr. Yeston had brought this up, but I went back and clarified to be sure that I know you were right, but I wanted to be sure you were right. You know, this is a great program, but if you look at Wellfleet's output of CO2 and other types of pollutants, and we pretty much are at net zero now. We're not completely at net zero, but we're pretty close to net zero. And I don't know what this program, although it's good and there's money and there's all those things, does it make a difference? And I'm not sure it makes a difference. The third part is, going back to who runs this thing, if we were able to use technical assistance money to hire an energy or climate coordinator, similar to what they have in some of the area towns, Truro has one as an example, that would help us gain grants going forward and have a point person that wouldn't be the DPW director. I think it's early. I know it's been a whole nother year. I understand that. But I believe this needs more work before we go forward. That's the short of it. It's not bad intent. It's not good product. All of this is good. I just don't think we're there yet.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to wait for other comments if anybody wanted to say anything. Otherwise, okay. Suzanne Ryan, Energy and Climate Action Committee. So through the chair to Tom, to your 2 points. The first one about what emissions Wellfleet is putting out. Well, we're putting out about the same as any other town. We're still on fossil fuels. So we're definitely not there yet, and that's the end goal. That's what this whole program is. But secondly, and more importantly, in my opinion, is I'm just wondering what your plan is now when equipment ages out. You know, there's someone there to implement that. We've been a green community town, and we have replaced old equipment without problem because it happens piecemeal, not all at once. And so this is very much the same. But even if we were not a green community or a climate leader community, what's the plan for replacing aged out equipment from now?
So the difference is, that I see, is that when we start, if we have to replace X, okay, a truck, even, we know that trucks aren't necessarily there yet, but let's use that as an example. When Jay goes to look at the specs for a truck, he's going to look at torque, he's going to look at this, he's going to look at that, he's going to look at plowing, he's going to look at all kinds of things. And then he's going to have to look at the power plant, which he wouldn't have to look at if he it's a learn curve on how much it's going to need for force, how many the batteries. I'm not good at this. I don't work with this stuff. The other point on the plan is, if we can buy, we will, but we don't have. It will mean sending more equipment to a third party because we aren't able to work on it. We have to train our people to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's to train someone on an electric vehicle. It takes a couple of years before you're fully conversant in that. I'm not suggesting. And we, based on my discussions with Jay and others, we just don't believe we're ready to go there yet.
Yeah. Okay, so I would just like to say that you are very focused on electric vehicles.
Right.
But the bigger focus is on the building infrastructure. And that's where the big money is going to come in. And you're walking away from millions of dollars, millions.
Well,
I don't know how you're going to fund aged out equipment.
Our needs right now are things that aren't going to be funded through this. I need generators. I need gas-powered or diesel-powered generators, and that's my priority right now.
Why gas and diesel powered as opposed to, do they exist? I guess they don't exist, non-diesel at this point, right? They don't. Yeah.
Your alternatives are either LP gas or diesel for a generating plant.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. But I do encourage you to look at the big picture. It's not about the cars. You can put off the cars for quite a while because they're not there yet. So if that's your main concern, I really ask you to kind of bypass that and consider the bigger picture.
Thank you.
Well, I have a question. We recently had a failure at the South Wellfleet Town Hall Annex, former Gestalt Center, the
HVAC.
HVAC for the big meeting space. Is that something that DPW could have looked at in terms of going with a heat pump, for instance, instead of replacing the gas furnace?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But is that in the works, or is that already been done, or?
No, we haven't done anything on specs or anything with that yet, so.
If I
Yep.
may, Mr. Chair,
Yep.
and I think we talked about this maybe 2 or 3 meetings ago. So we've had some good substantive conversations about this. Our Green Communities designation already entitles us to a competitive grant of $150,000. I believe that a full repair or retrofit of Town Hall Annex HVAC is billed somewhere at $68,000.
$68,000 for that section of the building.
Right, that section. And so even if it gains in cost, we could still look at a heat pump alternative and still, I would imagine, keep that under $150,000. And so I said this earlier, and I just want to reiterate this, that looking at our capital plan, I'm not seeing the big ticket items that would require us to have to apply for $1 million grant versus a $150,000 grant that we already can apply to as a green community. Some of this for me is a hesitation to make a promise that we're not sure we can fully commit to. Adopting a plan means that we should be working towards implementing that plan. I'm hearing that town administration and department heads don't feel like they can fulfill that promise. And so I'm hesitant to then direct our town to do so, not in good faith. And the second point, well, actually I have 3. The second is a very hard truth, that even if we fully re-insulated all of our buildings, replaced every single window, put them all on heat pump heating and cooling, the hard truth is we would still need to invest in very expensive and very large fossil fuel generators. We don't have the electrical infrastructure to fully rely on electrical heat. And so fossil fuels, unfortunately, is going to be in the future of Wellfleet and every other town on Cape Cod for a very long time. And that's a hard truth we have to accept. And so, and the third, I think, which is the most pragmatic, is our CO2 emissions and equivalence is not zero, but it's not so substantial that it should be that should be alarming. But our wastewater situation is alarming at this moment, and we need to spend tens of millions of dollars on rectifying our wastewater problems. And so, if I'm looking at spending $1 on reducing our CO2 emissions or $1 on fixing our wastewater problem, I personally believe that it's prudent for the town of Wellfleet to put that $1 towards wastewater. With every grant we receive, there has to be a match. So that comes out of our pockets as well. And so I absolutely respect this plan. I think in a perfect world we would do this. But unfortunately, we live in an imperfect world where we have to make hard decisions. And it's of my opinion that we need to be focusing on our wastewater problem in terms of climate action more than our CO2 emissions. That's where I'm coming from.
Barbara?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I guess I see things a bit differently than what Josh has expressed. I don't believe that adopting the roadmap requires us to start spending money on any particular project for that, a non-fossil fuel project immediately, thus taking those dollars away from the other things that we need to spend money on. I guess, as everyone knows, I work for the town of Truro. Truro adopted the roadmap and checked off all the other boxes and now is reaping the benefits of having done so. Truro has comparable staffing levels to Wellfleet. In fact, our budget's a bit smaller. As everyone knows, the last thing I want to do is to disagree with admin or staff on something large or small, but this has benefited Truro. I think we're up to about $1.3 million in grants. And yes, sometimes there are matches, but not always. And it's, to me, this is leaving money on the table. And because it does not require any immediate action, I think that's something that I think has crept in here that I don't think is the case. Attaining this status does not require us to spend money on anything in particular. It just gives us the opportunity to access money that we would not have access to otherwise. It's true we're now eligible to apply for some grants because of our green communities, but when you're a climate leader, you get much higher points, many more points on your application than you would green communities. So, I mean, I think Tom knows. I really try to support staff every way I can, but I know that this can work because it is working in Truro. The one difference is we do have a climate coordinator in Truro. He is part-time, but he is the one who writes the grants and does a lot of coordinating. We don't have that on staff. I appreciate it. If we do this, I think we have to recognize that I have no expectation for staff to be able to carry out the functions that Chris Palmer, our climate coordinator, carries out in Truro. That's unfair. I don't expect it. But for this to work, I mean, I'm going to support this, but for this to work, the committee has to somehow figure out a way, whether that means, hiring somebody, somehow writing the grants yourself. This isn't going to work unless there is some non-staff efforts. So again, I'm going to support this because I've seen it work in Truro. We have all sorts of projects percolating now that we wouldn't otherwise. But that's a piece of it that I got to hold you guys to, that there's no expectation that staff is going to do this work. Thank you.
A few things that I'd like to throw out there, and I'll try not to meander. I'll try to focus. There's a couple of different items. And this isn't a statement. These are questions, really, more than anything else. In addition to the issue at the annex that I mentioned, which is one opportunity, our elementary school, I think we went over this last time. I consulted with, the principal had expressed concerns about the heating plant there. I consulted with a technician from E.F. Winslow. We went over the oil burners and so forth and the boilers and concluded that we have time. And then I had an interesting discussion with the principal on the possibility of classroom by classroom going to mini-split type systems. Not all at once, but as funds permit. And I wondered how this might play, how something like as you're recommending might assist with that, and what impact that might have on staff, like at the DPW. The other thing, too, regarding the climate coordinator that Barbara brought up, I'm engaged in an ongoing process with the other Outer Cape Select Boards to meet, which I'm hoping we're going to do in July. We're having another meeting of the chairs, or in my case, probably soon, former chair, to plan that meeting. And the whole point being a discussion of shared services. What can we share? What costs can we spread out? And this might be one of them. And so that's just, I'm throwing that out there, not saying yes or no to the idea, but how can this impact it? So.
You respond to him?
I'll respond, and also to Barbara, because we think about this also in the committee, that this would be one of our next projects, to figure out how to raise the funds or do a shared with some a nearby town that you do need. We know, we've met many times with Jay, we know you don't want to add to that workload. But on the other hand, and as we were looking at to answer some of the questions from the last meeting, and you definitely talked about trigger events, and I really looked it up to find out a little bit more. And the whole idea is that this roadmap uses a strategic, over time approach that transitions buildings to clean energy by tying upgrades to natural pre-planned occurrences rather than making expensive forced changes. So the idea is that you can investigate when equipment is going to come to its end of life, when you're going to do major retrofits, and you might even build in something like surprise. I mean, contingencies are built into things like this. So we looked at that and we thought about, by design, this is going to be projects that the town wants to or has to do, and that the goal is that we're not overseeing that. The town is deciding that. But this does give us what you were saying, which is much more support, which was what where we're coming from as a committee. That's how we saw it, Oh, great. We can help with the budget on the town. Right.
Yeah, there's one thing I quickly want to throw out there before I leave that thought. The issue of generators was raised earlier. And I will point out that when you're running a fossil fuel heating system, whether it's LP gas or oil, it takes a lot less electrical energy to run an oil burner or a gas burner than it does to run a heat pump. So if you get away from the fossil fuel for the heat, we don't want our buildings to freeze up if there's a failure, a power failure. And you would need considerably larger generating capacity to run a heat pump-based heating system. So, Sheila?
Yes, and those are all things that those bridges as they come forward. But I agree with Barbara. I thought what she said was very well said. I did look at Truro. I do know that they're having a successful implementation with their coordinator. And I also don't want to go against staff or put more work on them. But I do think that if push comes to shove, this is something you could ask the voters. I mean, I think that if we don't give enough credit to all of the people who vote, we are all saying that they don't want to pay for certain things or we're trying to keep taxes down. This is maybe if it was a part-time person's doing a successful job, a maximum of 70,000 with benefits 80,000. I think if we made the case to town meeting to say this is going to come back in many, many different rewards and save us money and also improve our environment, and it's nice to be looked at as a community climate leader. I think that's a nice designation. I think that that's another alternative that we could do, and I think people would do it because that spread out over everybody is not much to pay for. So I also support this, and I don't want to repeat everything that's been said. Thank you.
I see we have Jay Norton who's online. I wonder if we could get him to weigh in on.
We're not
Well,
out to
Jay's
burden
weighed in.
you,
I don't
Jay.
think we should, if he's willing to, fine, but he's weighed in substantially.
He has, right.
Okay.
Mr. Chair?
Yeah.
So I'm supportive of going forward to qualify for the program to access grants. I mean, grants are always gated behind certain criteria. We know that we're going to have to be replacing a number of rooftops in the immediate future, and I would really want them to have solar on them. There's a financial benefit that's accrued to the town by having solar on top of a rooftop. I know the net metering in the area is maxed out, but there's a different program that you can qualify for that doesn't pay back as much as net metering does. But it's a financial benefit to the town to have solar on its rooftops. There's things like that, if we can have those solar panels funded primarily through grants, then it's free money for the town and the townspeople in terms of the budget. I am a little bit of a cynic, though. A lot of these net zero plans, I don't think we'll be at 100% renewable power sources within 25 years. Every deadline that's been talked about for those have come and gone. I know Massachusetts has a commitment currently for 2030, and they're going through contortions right now trying to figure out how to make that work. So, you know, I don't think there will be, you know, 100% clean electricity in 25 years. Be nice if there was, but I don't see it. I mean, it needed to have, you know, had substantial investments over the last, 30 years to get there. And we're only starting to see those investments over the last 10. But, I am supportive of this just because I am supportive of, trying to do our part to be environmentally friendly. But I'm really interested in the potential financial benefits that might be accrued to the town, particularly on various projects. So that's where I am.
I tend to agree with Ryan on this, but I would want to be assured that if we signed on to this, that we're not adding significantly to our DPW head's burden. That's why I brought him up.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen that way, I don't think.
Okay, I'll let the board deliberate.
No, you're his boss, so I want to. That's why I wouldn't mind hearing from.
Jay, if you want to come on, that'd be great. I'd appreciate it. Yeah, I want to be sure that the board understands. I'm not opposed to the program itself. I'm opposed to the program going in right now.
Well, but there's nothing right. It's not like we have a project right now that's going to be handed and add to it. It's the ability to be able to say, and I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, I just jumped in.
Go ahead.
To be able to look at an option, and when it comes up, now we have a chance. Can we apply for grants for this? Can we do it? And we will have the ability to do that or not. But it's not like an immediate impact on anyone. And I know that it might feel that way because I think most things that are coming down the pike are an immediate impact for poor Jay, and including unforeseen storms to boot. So I understand his reservation, but I also give him our word that we're not out to burden him. And if there's no other way but to burden, we might have to reconsider the opportunity.
It's so good to know this for us, so we know.
Right.
Where you are. And you should say this because you wrote this.
Yeah, Jay's ready.
Okay, yeah, Jay?
Mr. Chair, Jay Norton, DPW Director, thank you for allowing me to comment. I have been listening to this conversation, and, this is a difficult one, obviously, because, we have much respect for the Energy Committee and what they're trying to do here. I think it's a great plan. I think it's well-intentioned. I think there is a lot of available funding that would open up for the town of Wellfleet if we did jump on board for this program. But I also have to go back to Tom's original comment about just, the amount of projects and undertakings that staff and the town have right now are just almost too much to handle in itself in our current capacity. So that was just, obviously the original, just thinking about that and the amount of time that it would take to really manage something like this is just not within any of our capabilities at this time. And I'm afraid that with Wellfleet's history of, jumping into things very quickly and going through, projects and taking on projects, and I just fear that we're not ready to venture into this right now, just because of everything else going on in town and all the projects that we have currently going on and plan to be scheduled in the next few years. So obviously leave it to the board's decision, and I trust that, the comments that Sheila has made and Barbara has made, that if we do seek additional help in implementing these projects and making sure that we stay on track with this plan, then I'm all for it. I just can't commit to this right now. So much respect to everybody involved. That's just where I'm coming from.
Right, to me, that kind of clarifies a possible way forward, and I think that hinges on what develops out of this effort to get the select boards on the Outer Cape together, and collaborative efforts involving, for instance, a climate coordinator. I'm assuming that's, Jay, is what you're referring to.
Yeah, I mean, that would be great. And even if, if there's an opportunity to, look into a position that, could handle something like this, and then they could also handle other types of project management related tasks in town is also another idea. If it's, if it could be a full-time position, just knowing all the, the sewer projects coming up and, the onslaught of other projects coming up the pike could be an opportunity to look into that as well. So again, I think this is a great plan. I really do. I did have that comment about the electrical grid and the implementation of more, HVAC heat pump units running on our current grid and the capacity of that and how that will impact the infrastructure of our town going forward as we add more heat pump related HVAC units is also a concern. So I brought that up in the past. It was incorporated into this plan about the electrical grid and trying to improve it and lobby for our utility companies to enhance and bolster that. So I'll leave it there.
Yeah. Thank you, Jay. Sheila?
Yeah, Jay, I really do empathize with you. And, if there's some things that are on your radar right now, it might be a year from now or two that that you're going to have to deal with. This would give us the opportunity to get that equipment or whatever the replacement is, hopefully, maybe at a cost. So by doing this, will help the bottom line. It's not going to relieve any work that you're already anticipating. As I say, I think that Barbara and I do feel strongly we're not out to put more on you. And I just think that, a lot of the expectations that were built into this were prior administrations. And, a lot of this may not be realized, even for us. But once we're in the leadership, we can pick and choose what is going to be beneficial to us, what can we implement without heavy burden on others. Excuse me. And so I am guaranteeing you from me, and I do believe I can speak for Barbara on this, we will work very hard to make sure we get someone somehow to be able to help run this show and be successful. We want this to be a success. So that's all I'll say. And thank you. And
thank you, Sheila.
And we do love you, Jay. I just want you to know
I love
we do
you guys
appreciate
too.
you and everyone that at
Never
DPW.
say that to me, Jay.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
I just have one question, I guess, because it's a new program, so I'm not, super familiar with it. But I'm assuming there has to be some way to change a plan as you go along. Most plans are about every 5 years or so. Some are 10, some are actually 3. It varies by plan. But can you speak to the ability to, change the plan as time moves on? So.
Yes, Ron, this is very much a living document, and it's not intended to be a final plan that's going to require us to do all sorts of things immediately. This is an overview. It's a long-term thing. It's how do we get from here to as close to carbon neutral as we possibly can get by 2050. Most of the heavy lifting in this plan isn't gonna be things that Jay's gonna have to do, this year or next year. the big money savings here is in HVAC projects that are going to happen naturally. These are systems that are going to have to be replaced anyways. And if you look at the detail of the plan, most of these are out in the 2030s anyways. So there'll be every opportunity to change the plan. In fact, the DOER explicitly requires us to update the plan after 3 years and reapply.
Okay, so it's a 3-year, all right. Okay. And then just briefly, it's the concern about, losing heat is real. I know he's former DPW director of Rentham. He's in another position now. It was like probably 2 winters ago. Their pipes froze it was either DPW or one of the other, major buildings, and basically totaled the building. I mean, we've all seen it in personal homes. I used to do, property checks, and I've gone into houses that are basically an ice cube because, the heat's failed. And, we always need to have, if we're relying primarily on electricity, we need generators to power the heat facilities or a backup system in place to take over that, because otherwise, I mean, we're not going to have time to drain, buildings in the middle of a blizzard. So, yeah.
There's no good solutions.
Yeah,
No 100%
absolutely true. It's an issue. It's an issue for Massachusetts. I think it's a particular issue for us here on the Outer Cape. There will need to be backup, and it's something that's going to have to be explicitly worked into the plan. And in fact, it's mentioned and described in the roadmap as it's currently drafted.
Jay raised a very valid point. If we start converting buildings over to heat pump systems, can our electrical infrastructure handle it? For instance, if I and E.F. Winslow turned out to be wrong and the heating system at the school experienced a massive failure next February, and we rushed to put in heat pumps, I've seen instances where people wanted to install mini splits in their homes and found themselves having to do a major electrical upgrade that they didn't expect to have to do. So this is something to think about. And I remain concerned about the burden falling on our DPW if we move too quickly. I do think that there is very positive motion in the direction of looking at either a part-time or full-time climate coordinator if we can work with the other towns.
That's a great idea.
And I think that's the time to start thinking seriously about implementing something like this. But that's my thought. Josh?
Yeah. I mean, I'd be highly supportive of bringing on a climate coordinator. I do think we need to level set, however, how challenging it is to recruit for positions in this town, especially positions that don't pay exceptionally well. I mean, it took us a tremendous amount of time to find a health agent who, is very well paid. And so many other roles in our communities, not just Wellfleet, but many other communities, are having difficulty filling positions. And so if my colleagues are influenced on supporting this simply because they think that we're going to find an individual who's suddenly going to take the burden off of everyone else, I think we need to level set and understand that might not happen for a very long time. And so I just wanted to make that comment. I entirely understand why we as a community want to do this. I think, and I said before, in a perfect world we would. I'm just very reluctant to commit ourselves to moving forward with something like this, knowing that we're not able to fulfill that promise right now. And so I can't support this right now, only because I'm not confident that we can actually implement it.
Go ahead. And
Yeah,
then-
I just wanted to people's points about generators. I did a quick lookup, and while the Climate Leadership Grant Program doesn't fund for generators, they fund for energy storage. So if that's something that we wanted to consider, and there are other funding sources for generators. Just wanted to throw that out.
Okay,
Go ahead, finish your thought if you want.
I just want to just state it's getting on to toward 8 o'clock, and we still have some other items on here, so pretty soon we're going to need to wrap this up.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
if I could just put a final and sort of respond to Josh. Yeah, we may not get someone right away, and it doesn't mean, and that might be okay because there might not be a project facing us right away. This is to be able to access money that will benefit us. In the end, it's a good thing. And this town needs to be able to save money where it can. And it doesn't mean that we have to take on a project, gee, that looks, we could do that, but we can't because we don't have the capacity to do it. We don't have to bid on that. We don't have to make a bid on it. So this gives you the flexibility to be able to be there when you need it. So I just think there's no reason not to do it. So.
All right. If there's no further discussion, I think it's time for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the decarbonization roadmap as presented to the Select Board by the Wellfleet Energy Committee.
Second.
Just a question for discussion.
Sure.
Very quickly. So this decarbonization roadmap was made through a grant that the town received. When we update it in 3 years, would the same grant sources be available then, or does that fall on the town?
Excellent question. We'll find out about that, but it's mostly we will be reporting on how we do annually, as we do right now, as a green community. Do you know,
Chair,
Tom?
the only request that I would have, I'm fine, it's good. We'll do it and we'll do it well. But I would like you to pull the sentence out before you submit that says the DPW will be the lead agency on this.
That's a good idea.
A lot of times we say the town administrators designate.
Yeah, we'll put it on.
Yeah, Sheila Lyons will be the
That's
designated.
okay, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Is that good? So,
yeah.
This will take the burden off of him to...
Yeah, I just it's got to be out of his wheelhouse. Right now, between the Herring River and everything else, it's just got to come out of
We
his
can do
wheelhouse.
that, then I can support it.
but Ryan, that's a good question, because we were so happy to have DOER help us with this. We're assuming the same support is there, but,
And this will accomplish that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's it.
So it's been moved and seconded.
And now amended, the plan itself. So should we restate it?
We should probably
I agree.
vote on the amendment.
Restate, to approve the decarbonization roadmap as presented to the Select Board by the Wellfleet Energy and Climate Action Committee as amended.
Thank you.
Second.
All right.
Because we took out DPW.
All right. Jay, are you okay?
Okay, he's having a drink.
Totally fine, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now you can have your drink.
Yeah, now you can have a couple of beers, Jay. Calm down.
Appreciate it, guys. Have a good night.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Jay.
Roll call vote.
Brian, aye.
Barbara, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, no.
John, aye. Passes 4-1.
Congratulations, thank you
Thank
for
you
all
so
the
much.
work.
I will send through Tom that amended sentence.
Yes, please do.
Okay.
And before you send it, yeah,
Yep.
up there.
Thank you.
Thanks, folks.
Thank you.
so much.
So that's that. Okay, moving on to the Herring River restoration to discuss and take possible action on the signs to be placed at the Chequesnet Bridge. Tom, you indicated that that's not...
Mr. Chairman, that's going to be deferred. We had a meeting.
Sheila's letter.
Yeah, I'm the next one up.
We skipped one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, Tom's, yeah.
It was pulled.
No, you're next.
I am next, okay.
Well, you are next. I'm
I'm
sorry about
next.
that.
Yeah, well, actually,
Cut the line.
this is, yeah, I'm cutting the line.
Yourself, Barbara.
Yes, I'm going to make note
Okay,
of that.
excuse me.
So, this is just something I thought was interesting to bring before the board. It came before the county commissioners. Actually, it was our treasurer. As we're looking at town meetings and our own budgets and local aid that goes out, she did a look-through of lottery sales, which we get a lot of our local aid from. And to me, it was fascinating to see the amount of money towns spend on lottery tickets and how much we get back. And it's going down all the time. At the same time, State Senator Dylan Fernandez from the Upper Cape towns also was being aware of this, and it's election year, so it's a good thing. But he has now made a call out to make changes with the state on this, and he did come before us and asked if we would write a letter of support, and he said if that could, the more towns that could write would be beneficial. So doing my good duty for, I thought I would bring this forward and have you I think there's a letter here from the commissioners to there, and I just wanted to give you a sample of what the points are here. And if you are interested in sending a similar letter of support of Dylan Fernandez's motions, and that we think we should get more of our fair share of the millions and millions of dollars that go on lottery sales. We should have our own lottery here in Wellfleet for something, and then we could have that as a fund.
I don't think they'd let you do that. But while we're talking about that, maybe we can talk about Chapter 70 funding and Chapter 90 funding and a few other things that aren't
Anyway, so I
always-
just thought I'd bring this to your attention, and I also just thought it was very interesting to see how it all works out
I
for all of our
certainly see no
communities.
harm in sending a letter of support.
Who's going to be writing the letter?
I could work with Mr. Bugby and kind of just take portions of some of the things that are said here and send it out for people to see if that's to everybody's approval. If there's anything in this that you don't approve of, please let us know of the sentiments of.
Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
So, yes, I'm supportive of this. The Cape Cod in general gives more money to the state than it gets back. It has for a very long time. I don't think that it will be changed, but there's no harm in asking.
Exactly.
The one thing that would be really helpful for Wellfleet if they change how they use EQV to determine local aid, and that's why we're often net payer in terms of the cherry sheets, where we're paying into that $100,000 or more than we're receiving, and it's because it's based off of EQV, and that's equalized value. And so they take the value of all the real property, including the
Right.
seasonal homes, and then divide it by your population, and that's your EQV. And it doesn't matter if your population is earning income that's below the state median. They just look at the value of the real property and calculate it that way. And so for an area like Wellfleet, where we have a very large number of houses that are seasonal and not occupied on a year-round basis, it really skews our EQV and is not really reflective of the population here that lives here.
Yeah, and that is stated here, but I think that to add that is another flaw in this whole system would also be beneficial to add.
So do you need a motion from us, or?
I think it would be helpful to have a motion.
Right.
Yeah, it would be consistent with how the board has
has done other things.
So
Yep.
I move to approve the sending of a letter, or the sending of a letter relative to lottery sales and unrestricted, well, it's UGA. It's always, it's a goofy
Yeah, unrestricted.
abbreviation,
Yeah,
UGA.
UGA.
So, relative to UGA, and to designate Sheila Lyons to work with administration on drafting said letter.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Brian, aye.
Barbara, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
John, aye.
Okay, we'll get that going. Thank you. Anybody want to see the lottery returns? Actually, Truro does pretty well in its in the formula, considering you're not
Yeah,
the
but they
biggest.
don't sell much.
They don't sell as much, but
We're not
they get
talking about signs?
54%.
There's
No.
no out, there's
Okay.
nowhere to.
But
I
I'm
have a
gonna
lot,
explain
I have a
why.
lot to say.
Oh, there's a lot to say about signs.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll move on.
Anyway.
Yeah, for tonight.
Let's go on.
Okay, so that moves us to business item F. Ryan Curley to discuss possible actions of the town to help the Wellfleet Harbor Actors Theater.
Through the chair, before, if I could, Ryan, I have received a call from a person at Watt. I have not returned the call based on what the conversation of this evening is, and I will make the return call after, but I wanted to have, Ryan had wanted this on about a month and a half ago or so, and it didn't get on while I was on vacation, but I wanted it the first meeting I was back.
You know, contrary to the letter that says, I think I'm God, or something.
I haven't seen that one.
Oh, yeah, it came in.
Yeah.
On this, I just wanted the board to have a discussion on basically the future of that location in general, not specifically What Theater itself, but, you know, the What Theater as a building. And I don't really have a firm opinion one way or the other as to what we should do. I think, honestly, we should probably just wait and see how it goes.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's a pretty large theater, and it would be a shame if we lost the theater. But it could be run by, I don't know, I'm just, you know, I'm not really sure. I'm not looking to provide financial support to the theater. They've largely paid off their loan related to the construction of it. You know, contrary to what some people say, you can look it up on their 990s. But kind of like, you know, does Wellfleet want to, if what, as an organization, were to close, or cease to exist, would Wellfleet want to do anything to retain a theater for acting at that location? And what are the ways that we might be able to do that? But I'm not really sure. And I just thought, you know, it's obviously something that's fairly large in town, and it's worthy of you know, at least a short
Discussion.
Discussion amongst the board, because, and that's all I was looking for.
So through the chair, I mean, who owns the building now?
What does?
It's the board,
Does it
yeah.
include the post office? Is that
No,
one
that's
complex?
separate.
That's
Totally
separate?
different.
Okay.
No, I mean, they have a board, they have private donors. There's other theater groups that may even be in conversation with them, we don't know. So I think it is a wait and see what's going to become of that. Of what?
Yeah, through the chair, I mean, I agree it's a loss, and it's a loss we should care about, but I don't know what we could do at this point. But if we're thinking about institutions that are really vital to Outer Cape, and I think, Ryan, you've, you know, brought this up before, I mean, Outer Cape Health would be first on my list of entities that we should be knocking ourselves out, trying to figure out how we can help. So.
Who's that?
Outer Cape Health.
Yeah.
Dr. Archer came here with Irene, who is their development director, I don't know, a month or two ago, but
Turned it into an operating theater. No,
Yeah.
no, no.
Right, there you go. Har, har.
so, no, I mean, I appreciate Ryan bringing this up because we should care about what happens to arts, institutions in our town, but just another opportunity to mention Outer Cape Health. So, those are my thoughts.
Okay.
So we won't take any action on this now?
No, but, I think it's a fair question to ask, if the theater organization there were to close, what's the future of that location? It's pretty substantial in size, and it will be of interest to the town in the long term as to what actually happens there, just due to the size of the location. And, it's worth starting to think through that process earlier than it is later.
Through the chair, is there anyone we should speak to about it? I don't know, any other arts organization or town or anything?
I mean, not right now. I mean, they have to figure it out themselves at this point, but let's say, if the theater was to close as an organization, what's the future of that building?
Okay.
And
Go ahead, we'll find
that's kind of more the thought I was having.
Mr. Chair, so I did a little research. It looks like they failed to raise $200,000. Does that sound right, Ryan, this year?
I don't know. I mean, there's what's reported in the, newspaper, that their 990s, they've been kind of upside down the last few years. I can provide them to the board and administration if you want to look at them later. But it's more like, I'm more thinking, making an assumption that there's a, decent probability that what as an organization is going to cease to exist at some point. And then what is the future of that building?
And I was coming at it from the angle of how could we save it. So, you're right, we have very limited options. The only two I could come up with were the possibility of CPA funds being used to possibly save it on some level. That's an option, although that would need a legal analysis. And there are state agencies, Mass Commission on Humanities, I can't remember their name, but Mass Cultural Council, they may be able to help, especially the state agency of the Mass Cultural Council. They have been involved in some community theaters in helping to save them. So just two options that I was able to come up with. Thank you.
Okay.
Any further discussion on it?
No.
No, I just, in addition to the theater part, they've also done, events over the winter like Yule for Fuel,
Yeah.
which is an important element to the local area. I mean, obviously, people need assistance funding their fuel for the winter. So, yeah, I'm more looking at, broad scope.
Yeah.
What is the future there? If there's ways that we can, support without putting in, funds ourselves. So, if they were to apply for grants from the state, let's say, and they wanted a supporting letter from the town, I mean, that's pretty a low bar for us. But, I'm just kind of looking at it as, if it does cease to exist as an organization, what happens with that building?
Okay, then I guess we'll move on to the changing of the guard, Select Board reorganization.
Well, John, you've done a good job.
Well, thank you. I guess I'll take nominations. Should I start off?
Sure.
All right, I'll nominate Sheila Lyons to take over as chair.
I'll second.
Okay.
Any discussion?
So I think, are we going to have our usual practice of collecting all nominations?
Sure, why don't we
and
do
then-
that?
Yeah,
All right, so I will accept.
I'd like to nominate Josh as chair.
I accept the nomination.
Second?
And now comes the, yeah.
There you go.
Any other nominations?
Anybody else want to throw their hat in the ring?
No?
No?
No.
No.
I mean, if I were nominated, I'd accept it, but I'm not going to nominate myself. Enough is too much.
No, you put in, you put in a amazing 2 years.
2 years, you basically burn out,
I agree.
so.
Yeah, I think that's safe to say. I hope it doesn't show. So in that case, we've had 2 nominations in 2 seconds. I guess we'll do a roll call vote first.
So don't we, Mr. Chair, sorry to interrupt, don't we usually kind of have a discussion?
Oh, well, yeah, it's open for discussion.
Yeah, I mean, just in case anyone wants to talk about,
Okay.
if anyone wants to talk about the nomination and why nominated.
Floor's open.
I'll talk about it.
Okay.
I have expressed this before. I think that when somebody is a vice chair, they're sort of in a seat where they're planning these meetings with the chair. You're learning to go forward. I have run many meetings in my life. I think that when I have acted as chair, I have been fair, open, and I've handled confrontation well. I think people vote for all of us. And I was put here with a significant amount of votes. I have a lot of support in the town. And I think it's somewhat disrespectful to, and also it has a feeling of something else for me personally. But I think that I would be a good chair, and I don't see why I wouldn't be, or why I would not. I would be interested in the reasons why I shouldn't be.
Through the chair.
Sure.
Do you want me to comment, or do you?
It's
would you
up
like
to you.
Yeah.
Floor's
So there's certainly nothing, personal about it. Every time we discuss chair, vice chair of either this board or now the sewer commission, for me, it's a question of who is the best person at this time to take on these responsibilities. And, I don't disagree, you've done a good job as vice chair. To me, right now, what we need is, as I see it, a person who has just thrown himself into this work, the select board's work, and, taken this, this aspect of the job. The leadership aspect is something that I think, yes, often a person is vice chair before their chair, but that doesn't necessarily mean in every case that person is necessarily the right person at the right time. So, I think that explains my opinion on this. I think there's, arguments for both of you, but that is that's who I support at this time for the coming year. Thank you.
Anybody else?
The chair should arrive on time. So,
Are you talking to John?
just in general, if somebody is going to be chair, they have to arrive on time.
If that is one of the criteria, I don't think that's something that can be said.
I suppose I'll speak. Yeah. I had no ambition to be chair, and I hadn't even anticipated to be nominated as chair. I had every intention to nominate somebody else, and it was Member Carboni. But when I asked if they would accept my nomination, they said no. And so I'm very pleased to have been nominated, and I think I'll take on the responsibility and the job quite well. I suppose, Sheila, I don't see it as personal, and I don't think that there should be an expectation of because you're vice chair, you become chair. Same as when you nominated me to be chair of the sewer commission. I didn't feel entitled to hold that position simply because I was the vice chair. And that's a semantic argument. It's mostly procedural, but I think that's important that we as a board of five are a board of equals. We're peers. We all understand the responsibility of being chair, and we all understand the extra burden that it takes. I'm confident that I'll do the job well. And I'm very happy to accept the nomination, but also accept, the vote of the five of us who we think we should leave next year.
That's fine. You can call that vote, John.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay, well then, Sheila, you were the first nomination, so...
I'm going to withdraw because I already know how this will go. So go right ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I move to appoint Josh Yeston as chair of the Select Board.
Second.
So you're withdrawing your...
I do not, well, sure. Laura, I'll go with my vote. You can put me up there
Okay.
first.
I think, since that was the first nomination, that's...
It was the
that
first
should be the
nomination. Go
vote.
right ahead.
Whatever, sure.
Okay,
I
then
guess
roll
I'm-
call vote.
Wait, are we voting?
Yeah, we're going to vote on my nomination, that I be
That
chair.
wasn't the motion that was made, so I need to
You can withdraw
that motion.
Okay.
Okay. So, John, do you want to make that motion?
Okay, I nominate Sheila Lyons to be chair of the Select Board.
I'll
And-
second.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Ryan, no.
Barbara, no.
Sheila, yes.
Josh, no.
And John, yes. So that fails 3-2.
Go right ahead.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I move to appoint Josh Yeston as chair of the Select Board.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call vote.
Ryan, I.
Barbara, aye.
Sheila, no.
Josh, aye.
John, aye.
Vice chair, would you be willing to be vice chair, Mr. Wolf?
Sure, if that's what you guys want.
I think that provides some, continuance that's helpful. So I would nominate Mr. Wolf as vice chair.
Second.
Roll call vote. I'm sorry.
Check to see if there's others.
I'd like to nominate Member Carboni. I think that they would be an excellent vice chair, as you would, Mr. Wolf.
I'll second.
I would like to have a discussion about Member Carboni as well, please.
I'll second.
I would accept. I think that is something that I could fulfill. I think just based on having been chair before, but also, an extra couple years of experience is also helpful. And if the board feels that I would be the right person for it, I'd be glad to serve.
Yep.
I'd be fine with either, so.
So would I. Is there any further discussion?
Gonna have to
No.
vote on this thing. All right.
Mr. Chair, I move that Barbara Carboni be the vice chair.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote.
Come back to me. Come back to me.
I'll say Barbara, aye.
Josh, aye.
Sheila, no.
John, aye.
Ryan, I.
All right. I'm off the hook.
I think, John, you're
Yeah.
off the hook. I think you'll be glad, to be honest. I really do.
You've done a tremendous
I
job.
know.
Well, thanks.
So clerk,
Oh, yeah, we need a clerk.
you did it for a number of years. You want to be
Yeah, you can
clerk
be chair.
again?
Yeah, go hang with Frank.
Or do we want Josh as clerk, or?
No, he's the chair. No. Yeah, he's
Well,
the
he's the clerk
Yeah.
now. He can be the clerk.
You retained the clerk, I think, for the first year as chair, right?
Yeah, except you'll have to go sign everything in Ann's office. Remember when you used to have to go in there? In Ann's old office that was our
Oh,
select
yeah,
board
yeah,
office? You got to go sign everything there.
Look through warrants late at night.
Ugh. I want to do that again.
the clerk is one of those things at this, usually it's
I
like.
did
the-
it for 3 years.
Yeah. It's usually like, the most junior one. But we've all served at least, 2 years at this point.
How, seriously, how much work is it? I never did it.
Oh,
I mean, I can, as the former clerk, I can say,
Correspondence.
yeah, and so correspondence can be handled one of two ways, right? You either can batch the correspondence report or you could do it in real time. Because my day job is me in front of my laptop all day, I do it in real time. When I get an email, I hear a ping, I immediately respond with a 2-sentence, they say, thank you for sharing, the select board has received your letter. I then write in a Word document, a bullet point of of the subject, and I move on with my day.
Well, I'll say, I would rather not do it again.
No, you don't, you deserve.
I had set up an automated system for myself when I was clerk. It would generate a correspondence report.
Yeah.
Then
And-
then
Ryan,
you should be clerk.
Would you be willing to be clerk?
I don't want to be so with clerk, the one thing is, so normally, we have a clerk and then we also allow the chair to sign in the clerk's absence.
I'll sign warrants.
Because if you don't, somebody doesn't get paid and then staff will hunt you down.
I nominate
I've seen
myself.
John when he hasn't gotten, you know what?
I nominate myself to be clerk, if everybody else doesn't want it. How's that?
I would second that.
La La Land.
All right,
Right.
And, yeah,
okay. No, I don't think any discussion.
well, we need a vote on
No, we
it.
need a vote.
No.
Very supportive of it.
So
I know a vote,
You gotta
but-
call the vote.
I am chair now, excuse me.
By the way,
Oh, thank
I
you so
never
much.
had, I never.
I don't like
Um,
those.
I never had one.
Roll call
Rebecca
vote.
asked if I wanted one.
Roll
At
call
the time
vote,
I said
please.
no.
You need them.
Roll call vote.
Oh, Ryan, I.
Barbara, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Sheila.
Sheila.
Well, after we vote.
John, I.
Josh, aye. Vote carries 5-0.
I move to allow the chair to sign in the clerk's absence.
Yeah.
Sure, second.
You don't need the motion for
I
it.
don't think you
No, I
have to
don't
have a
think it
motion
needs
for that, it's what it is.
Any member of the select board can sign a warrant.
Yep,
That's true.
Really?
that's
Yeah,
true.
and
Anybody can
also,
go
just-
in
Just to
and,
be fair,
I mean, there was a time where
no, there
it
isn't.
had to be a majority of the board.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to move on
so-
to the minutes.
I would still like to make that motion if there's a second for
Sure.
it.
Have a
just to provide
second.
clarity.
Second.
okay, any discussion?
There's the empty chair. Second.
It's been seconded by member Carboni. Is there any discussion? No? Roll call vote?
Ryan, I.
Barbara, aye.
Sheila, aye.
John, I.
Josh, aye.
And then we're on to
Well,
the
all right, we're up
minutes.
to minutes.
No.
Not
I
yet.
don't have
Oh,
any.
excuse me, pardon me.
Here.
Yes, I didn't think this was going to happen. All right, we are up to select board reports. Does anyone on the board have a report?
I don't have one.
I
at
do
this
not.
time.
No, just if people haven't already, get back to the chamber about what they asked for, if we would be riding along or not. I actually haven't decided yet. They said last year you provided the vehicle, Josh, so.
I can give a report on that.
So, but they also do need to know who is going to be coming. I definitely can't walk it anymore right now, so.
I will RSVP, yes, thanks for the reminder. Is there any way we can, I mean, I think they provided a lot of candy last year.
Yeah, they did.
Or we did? Oh, okay.
No, they did, but I think it's good. if we
Yeah,
know.
I bought it a couple of years.
No, I know you did a couple of years. I just want to make sure we sort of do our part, that's all.
If I might tack on to this report, I have corresponded with the chamber and offered to drive my old truck again, if you all want to join me. I've also purchased 16 pounds of candy, which is twice the amount that we had last year.
Excellent.
Because we got really close with running out, but we actually didn't.
No, usually you run out at the turn. You're like,
Oh.
you have to ration it.
I only know this because I found the remains underneath the seat after sitting all winter. So, yeah, threw those away. But I have responded to the chamber. I will be driving my old truck, and I've already brought the candy, and it's in my basement.
There you go.
Any other reports?
Nope.
As I was clerk up until 10 minutes ago. I will submit my final correspondence report in writing. So yeah, TA report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I handed out to you earlier tonight a draft. It's not very fancy and it's not very,
Where is that?
very complicated.
Very.
But this is what, and this is only one set of assumptions, but I took an assumption that we're going to be, over the next few years, our budget's going to rise at a rate of 5 to 6%.
Yeah.
And that we're going to get 2.5% plus new growth. And I plugged in about a full percent for new growth, and that's a little heavy. And I said that in my thing. But what you can see is what I've been talking about for a couple of years is the duck bill. And as you see the expenses in red going up in the revenue without doing anything else. This is not assuming anything else. This is just raw data. We're going to have in 5 years, in 32, about a $7 million differential between income and expense. The town has been very generous, the townspeople, with overrides and supplements to the budget and those types of things. But I don't think we can continue on a path where the duck bill gets wider and wider and wider. And I would like to look at
Is that your Siri talking to
the,
you? That I should explain. What is it?
Please.
the high-level huddle committee becoming a budget committee, one, as well as an override committee. Because we've been talking for 2 years, and I'm assuming the board is still on board with this, that instead of nickel and diming residents every year, that we do an assessment of what we need, where we may be overburdened or overstaffed, right size what we need to do. I know we need a couple of admins, support folks that we are short on. And we're talking tonight about perhaps a part-time energy climate coordinator. I think we really need to go in and take a look at this budget. We're a town of 3,200 people, 3,500 people. We have a lot of expenses because of our, what we do for tourists, and tourists bring in a lot of money here, and we need to. But we are way out, in my opinion, this is only my opinion, in looking at this from years and years. I think we're a little bit over our skis, and I think we're going to continue to get over our skis until we have a real discussion of what we want to look like in 5 years or 10 years, and what the staffing levels are going to need to be. What are the programs that are going to be continuing? We don't know what will happen with the schools. We have large capital expenses in the elementary school and some other places that we really need to look at. And the townspeople have been great with debt excluded overrides. They've been wonderful. I was really surprised with the vote this year on those. But we really need to do an analysis, and that's something that has not been done, and we haven't had a lot of good time to sit down and do a lot of analytics, but we really need to, because I think that we're at a point that duck bill gets much wider. We're not going to have a way to get back. And we have lots of other issues that are pressing, but I do think we need to take a look at this and look at a long-term approach to how we budget. Ms. Carboni, when I first came on, talked about 2-year budgets, and that's something that I think we should look at. But I do think that we need to consider doing a one-time override, getting some things right-sized, or that may be adding, it may be detracting, and then go to the townspeople with, this is where we are for the next 5 years, barring any catastrophic issue. We don't go back for another general override. during that period of time. We just, in my opinion, and the townspeople don't seem, we hit them every year. Every year we're going back for something. And, you know, one of the seasonal residents mentioned to me, and I think you've heard it, you know, they feel like they're the ATM.
Right.
I'm not sure that that's valid. I'm just putting out what people have said. But I do think with three budget seasons behind me here, that we really need to take a look at not just line items, but programs and offerings and what is it that we want to be able to do.
I think this warrants significant further discussion, but I want to make sure you're quoted accurately. You said there's going to be a $7 million delta by FY32. I think you meant to say FY37.
No, FY30, if I'm looking at 32,
I'm just looking at your graph.
it's at 38, and it goes up to about 44 in FY32. You're just below 45. You're at 40, call it 44, and you're at 47, 48, so maybe 3 million. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I had to walk through it.
So through the chair?
Yep.
So I think, I agree with everything you're saying, and I'm glad you're calling our attention to this now and making a plan for now. My question is, do you anticipate having what's called, I think you've called the high huddle?
Yeah.
Sort of work on this? And if so, can you remind me who the high
Sure.
huddle is?
Chair of the school committee, chair of the finance committee, chair of the select board. The town accountant is a member. One department head would be, not from finance, would be a member, and I would put a member at large on as well.
And follow up if I could. And then is the idea that the high huddle would, or you would report out to us
Myself and whoever the select board member was, yes.
just periodically on sort of what you've been discussing?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So, Mr. Chair, if I may?
Please.
Very quickly. So, you know, I know Eastham, you know, similar town, they're expecting overrides every 3 to 5 years. The issue really is our new growth is basically under 1% a year.
Yes.
And then our collective bargaining agreements increase faster than that. But we also have these massively exploding insurance costs that are like, you know, frequently in the double digits a year. And that's just, it's killing towns across the entire, you know, state. And you're seeing overrides all across. But I've asked a couple times in the past, but I think we should do a zero basis budget. I know it's a lot of work.
But a zero-based budget really doesn't work in a municipality. There are things you can do modified zero base. You know, and I kind of do that with the departments. Explain to me everything that you're putting into those line items and explain the justification. We can try a zero base, but it's very Ford Motor Company-esque as opposed to human service-esque.
I want to make sure we're limiting the discussion with the town administrator to his report and asking probative questions on his report and not getting into deliberations.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I was
But I would,
thinking of the same, so.
We could have, yeah, through the chair, I mean, we could have an item if we ever want to have that discussion.
yes.
Thank you. Through the chair, I wonder if the town administrator had more in his report?
I do. It's getting late, but
I mean, I'm used to us, most of my time at this time of year, we'd be starting the meeting at 7. So to me, this is still like fairly early in the meeting. It's still vaguely light outside. So, yeah.
okay. Let me just run through these quick. As you're all aware, we have an opening in HR. without getting into a lot of reasons, we have an opening in HR. I'm advertising next week, but I'm also meeting with a neighboring community who's in the process of hiring an HR person to see if we could share this up. It would cost probably an admin person to be here or a benefits manager to be here to take over the day-to-day type thing. And that would be a reorg that would have to come back to the board. But it's something that we're starting a discussion on. I hope to have a report on the 7th in more detail on that. Just so you know, the transfer station review has been commenced. Jay, John, myself, Mike Sicali, we're working with the consultants, and they're starting to do the work on this, and we're meeting on a bi-weekly basis, so you're aware of that. The waging class kicked off this week. We had a meeting with Gallagher, went over some of the finer points of what we're looking to have done, and they will be up and running starting next week as well. They're gathering information now. Just so Brian brought it up, but we'll be signing all the insurance binders this week for non-health and dental. You got the rough and dirty budget graph.
Dirty.
The operations and maintenance RFP is out for the wastewater treatment facility at Lawrence Hill. We're in final stages. Price proposals will be hopefully reviewed this week. We had some questions we needed to ask. John put some questions out. We got the answers. The team will be getting together to go through that, and then I'll look at the price proposals. I have not looked at those yet. The ecological survey of Wellfleet Harbor. That is, the RFP is being put together for that as well. And electrical work at the marina is ongoing. We met with Ty and Bond. John actually met with Ty and Bond today to try to expedite what they were doing. The bid spec we originally received, the bids came in double what the estimate was. There was thought of some other ways of doing business. John's working with the engineer and Michael to see if we can get power down there to at least to the slips.
Through the chair.
Please.
My offer stands to sit down with you guys on the specifics of what they want to put in down there.
Oh, we'll take you up on that too.
Just let me know when.
If I could weigh in real quickly. So my conversation with them today was to emphasize the need to get this done sooner rather than later. I think we understand that the marina was without power because it would have been unsafe to put last year's infrastructure back in place. But I also emphasized to them that this isn't a redesign of the electrical infrastructure at the marina. This is a replacement of the pedestals and the electrical equipment that we used, but an updated version, and the spec should reflect that. So they get that, and we're just going to move this forward as quickly as we can. But I will take you up on your offer.
That's it for this evening.
Okay. I have one more question.
Please.
Thanks. What's the outcome of that cut sewer line from the restrooms?
We're going to, we did an email today because there was a lot of this going on, and I finally said, folks, let's stop this, get it fixed. And they're going to get on it tomorrow.
Are they going to make good? Because the town shouldn't have to pay for that.
No, I know. We're paying for a porta potty right now, so.
I mean, for the repairs to the.
Yeah, we're hunting down the culprit on that as well, and we will take action if we can find enough evidence to do that. Yes, thank you for the word. We do work well together.
Future
Anything
agenda
else?
No, I was done.
Very good. Topics for future discussion.
This is one that you had talked to me about, John.
Anyone from the board? Topics of future discussion?
The L pier.
Yeah.
Through you? Yeah, I did talk to Tom. I brought up the L pier with you.
Yeah.
You want to?
Well, we have two funding sources that we're trying to grab for the L pier.
Respectfully, this is for future discussion, not discussion tonight.
Okay, then we'll put it on for future meeting, I guess, John.
Okay. I have a couple. Helen Wilson's been bugging me about the water system contract. I don't know if it's true or not, but, or what the status is. She says the contract with Viola is not, there's an interim contract and the final one isn't in place. So if that's,
So through the, I'm sorry, through the chair, that's an admin thing, not a select board.
It might be, if, it will come back to us as a contract probably, so, to approve.
Without getting into it, because it's future discussion, there were some issues relative to the indemnification language. In one other paragraph, the lawyers are working it out.
Okay. We need a report from the auditors. It's in their contract to come to the select board annually. We need their final audit, and then they are contract.
Respectfully, Mr.
Right.
Curley, we can add items for future agenda, but we're not going to discuss future items right
Okay.
now. Questions for administration, we can ask them off.
The TA performance review, the goals, and then I don't know if we want to take it up. I don't know, but paid parking, it's kind of been hanging out there since we last discussed it.
Anyone else from the board?
Nope.
Go ahead.
I think there is an item on there for the appointments to the Marina Committee.
Yes, I was going to read it out at the end.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
Appointments to what?
Marina Advisory.
Oh, okay. So I was visited by a young woman, Carissa Rogers Mounts, and she has a concern about mosquito spraying on windy days near shellfish beds. So I think it's just something we could talk, I don't know what we can do. I'm sure there's some, like everything else, you can't have a fire on certain windy days. And she said she understands we can't really kind of get into other people's businesses, but what are, their rights? So that's one question. But also shelters. I think we should have a conversation about shelters, a shelter here in Wellfleet after that storm. Is there a possibility of having a shelter?
Are we discussing shelters for the
Yeah,
on-home or the shelters for
shelter, not homeless shelters. I'm talking about
Weather shelters.
Warming shelters and a shelter to come to when people are freezing in their homes, and we brought them to Nauset and their generator stopped. So, that type of thing. Is there a possibility? Is there a space that we could look at and identify that we would put it as part of that emergency management team and put it in the mix?
That will be a good discussion.
And that was very hot topic of everybody's, but right after that storm.
Yeah.
And she reminded me of it, and I think it is something we should talk about. Thank you. We put that in.
Anything else from the board? And then we also, we're going to be interviewing and appointing members to the Marine Advisory Committee. We do need to have a Maurice's Campground discussion.
Yes.
I'm of the personal belief that should be a separate meeting and not a regularly scheduled meeting, but we can discuss that later. And then Marina use of town property, was that added? Who added that? On July 7th?
Well, that is something we need to do.
Certainly. Is this with regards to the two?
The boat rental shed and.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And is town administration prepared to have that discussion on July 7th?
Yeah, I think we are.
Okay.
Yep.
Very well. If no other future agenda items, we can move on to minutes.
Well, the town's going to start buying lottery tickets.
Excuse me?
The town's going to start buying lottery tickets.
Right, are we
According
going
to the county's analysis.
No, I think that I think this
budget that
town
way.
pays a lot of money in lottery tickets.
We have minutes for June 2nd. Did you not get minutes?
Yeah.
We have time to put them off. If not everyone's had time to review them, we can discuss them at our next meeting.
Well, I can take a quick glance through them.
I would.
I appreciate the note in red that says board member Curley recused himself from the meeting and left the room. The chair out there is actually more comfortable too, so.
I had one small amendment on page 3. Public hearing, item A, it says board member Yeston moved and board member seconded. It was member Lyon seconded the motion. Going back to the video.
Breaking the gavel.
I don't know.
That's all right, that could be left out.
Mr. Sayers said there should be a note that, on the minutes, that I was not voting for, the reason I was, but it doesn't really matter to me, it's fine.
Okay.
So,
Would you like an amendment?
I don't have one, that doesn't really, I think I might have explained it in the beginning, right?
You did.
Yeah.
You see right here, board member Curley spoke about the recount of the select board candidates and stated he will be recusing himself from any votes at tonight's meetings as he's a holdover member.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's there.
Yeah.
It's in.
Yeah.
All right. Do I have a motion on the minutes?
Yeah, I don't see anything. Thank you.
I move to approve the minutes of June 2nd, 2026 as amended.
Second?
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Ryan, aye.
Barbara, aye.
Sheila, aye.
John, I.
Josh, aye. Motion carries 5-0. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Ryan, aye.
Barbara, aye.
Sheila, aye.
John, I.
Josh, aye. This meeting is adjourned.